Wuthering Wave's first limited banner unit Jiyan is here, an arrow element broadblade user who focuses on raw alt damage output. He's definitely the strongest DPS in the game currently, so let's talk about his best weapons, teammates, echo sets, and echo stats. So starting with his broadblade options, his signature is by far his best in slot. Everything else is worse by a good amount. Although Lustrous Razor is a pretty good alternative 5-star, it's his second best in slot. Then his best 4-star / free-to-play options are Autumn Trace at S1, providing him with crit rate and attack. This is a battle pass weapon, however. Then Helios Cleaver at S1 is also decent, providing a ton of attack. And then Broadblade 41 at S1 can also be used if you're having energy issues, as it provides energy regen from its main stat and a good amount of attack with a bonus of a little healing. But it is important to stay above 80% HP for this weapon. Now onto Jiyan's best teammates. He is a heavy attack focused character during his ult, so Mortify is his best teammate by far. Mortify provides a massive heavy attack buff and does not take up a lot of time on field, allowing Jiyan to dish out a ton more damage during your rotations. Alto is also a decent teammate, providing a 23% arrow damage buff, but unfortunately that's all he really provides, while also taking up a bit more field time. So he isn't as good as Mortify, but still decent. Now for Jiyan's healer / support slot, Verena is of course his best in slot. She has a very strong outro skill that provides all allies with a 15% damage deepen. Deepen pretty much means a separate damage multiplier. It's not the same as something like plus 15% elemental damage. She also takes very little field time. She can run the 5-piece rejuvenating glow set, which provides attack percent. She uses the Bellborn Big Turtle Echo, which provides a 10% damage boost for all allies. She grants a permanent 20% attack boost, and she can prevent an ally death every 10 minutes. She is pretty much the best support in the game currently, and she'll be very strong for a long time. But if you don't have Verena, then Baiju is another healer. She also uses the same 5-piece rejuvenating glow set and Bellborn Turtle Echo. She also has a 15% damage deepen, but only for the next character that takes the field after her outro skill is triggered. And she also provides a 15% attack buff to any ally that picks up Euphonia, which is generated when she skills. Now for the biggest and probably most important part for Jiyan, his echoes. Now, Jiyan's best echo set is the Sierra Gale set, the 2-piece giving him arrow damage and the 5-piece giving him even more arrow damage when he uses his intro skill. Now, the cost spread for his echoes should be first slot going down, 4 cost, 3 cost, 3 cost, 1 cost, 1 cost. So for the 4 cost slot, this is the echo your Jiyan turns into, the main echo. You want to farm the Philian Berengal, I think I'm pronouncing that right. It gives Jiyan arrow damage and heavy attack damage buffs, which is a big chunk of his damage. Then the main stance you want is either crit rate or crit damage, whichever you need more of. For the 3 cost echoes, you can farm Chase Razors, Herons, or Hu Chiefs. They're the only 3 cost echoes that drop with the Sierra Gale Sonata effect. And the main stats you want for these are arrow damage or energy regen if you're struggling to have good uptime on his ult, because that's where his damage comes from. So either double arrow or 1 arrow, 1 energy regen. And then finally for the 2 1 cost echo slots, there are a ton of mobs you can farm from. I'm just gonna show all of them here. Pause if you want to see. But the main stats for these 1 cost echoes should both be attack percent. So your Jiyan echoes build should look something similar to this, or at least this is the ideal build. And now all we're left with is substats. Simple. On all your echoes, you want to build energy regen if you need it. That would be the first priority. Then crit rate, crit damage. Attack percent is also decent. And if you don't need energy regen, then perfect substats would look something like crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and heavy damage percent. And that's Jiyan. So I'm not sure if I should add his sequence nodes into the videos. I'm not really sure how many people care about them, but just let me know if I should add them. If enough people want that, then I'll add them in for the rest of the characters.